Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Good morning once again. We're back with more of our talk time here on Activated Mornings. At this time, we are joined by Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas so that he can bring us his morning commentary. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. But I want to ask a question though. Having an echo in the phones, I don't know if you hear me say. When you were younger and you heard about marijuana, Tampi, or whatever you call it, what was your impression?
I don't know. I don't think I had an impression of it, whether it was negative or I think maybe negative in a sense because of the way it's viewed. It was viewed internationally as a bad drug. And growing up in the 90s, in a sense, when they had the whole war on drugs, from the American standpoint, that affected us here within the region. So yeah, maybe it was viewed in a negative light.
Well, I think it's something that we used to always view in a negative light because it's once you drugs coming, it is saying that it's something that you're obligated to and you have a fix on it to your life. But I totally don't support no aspect of decriminalizing and encouraging people to use it, whether to just smoke it or recreational. I think it's a startup drug. It's a gateway drug. And it's bad. I don't know why people are always finding ways to encourage people to use it. I have zero tolerance for people. If I know you're using it, I will keep far for you. If I don't know, I don't know. But once I suspect you using that kind of thing there, I ain't getting involved with you at all because I think, let me tell you something. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and they were talking about the amount of young people they see drinking. And we're not going to call what they drink. But every shop bar you go, all of a sudden everybody feels strong. Everybody figure, well, you could drink rum. And rum leads you to go to try something else. So you go rum, you go marijuana, you go Zuki, from Zuki you go cocaine, and you find yourself on a crackhead all about you all over the place. I totally disagree with people who think that recreation use of marijuana must be encouraged. I hear people call and say this kid is plant trading everywhere. Most people who listen to you know, if you put them in a marijuana field and stretch and feed, even know the difference if they see marijuana as a colloid. And I am in that position there. Because, like I said, it's that now. I have zero tolerance for people who are using drugs. Because there's something, when you hear somebody fix on drugs, strong drink, they have to have that every day. And when they can't get that, they go and do things that they unexpected they should never do. So my thought today, I have zero tolerance for people who use drugs. You might say, I judge people. If I know, me and use it. If I don't know, I don't know. That's your thing. But me encouraging that.
No, a second. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Dianna.
Kingsley, I'm guessing you feel the same about cigarettes?
Cigarettes?
Uh-huh.
I can't stand cigarette much as you use cigarette.
Mine asks if it is music.
I don't tolerate smoking cigarettes neither. And if people choose to use that for their recreation, that's their thing. But me not dealing with no smoking my lungs beside air. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And what about your position on you spoke about alcohol, you touched on it, but you said that you won't tolerate somebody who uses marijuana around you. But do you have any friends who are alcoholics?
No. If I know that they are alcoholic, I haven't used to that. they could be alcoholic and I don't know. But once I know, I keep you at arm's length, okay?
Okay. All right. Seems like you're fair across the board then. Okay.
All right, okay.
All right. Have a good one, Kingsley.
All right then. So that was Kingsley DeFreitas with his commentary again. He was talking about the marijuana that has been trending as of late, and he is opposed to the decriminalization of marijuana. Kingsley said some interesting things there, but I think I want to let you go first if you have anything to say, and then I will get into my response.
Well, I don't really have anything else to add. As I said yesterday, this is a topic where persons are going to be divided on, and not even just on political grounds, just on regular grounds. There are some persons who recognize that it is a plant, and as a plant, there are positive and negative benefits behind its usage. As with anything else, just as with food, overconsumption or overusage can lead to the negative effects. So I think in all of it, we just have to be mindful that to the medicinal aspect of it, because again, as I sort of mentioned yesterday, of course, it's going to have its medicinal benefits. Even persons who do not get hooked on it as a recreational drug, they use it for medicinal purposes, and they can speak to the effects of it working for them. But even in the recreational context, persons are going to abuse whatever it is that they can get their hands on if they choose to. You're going to abuse alcohol, you're going to abuse prescription drugs, you're going to abuse this, you're going to abuse that. So it really, the onus does come back down to individuals and maybe the education that's pushed behind it so as to safeguard persons. Now, we can come into to drugs all the time. I remember when I used to return to campus after vacation, and two things that persons would always ask me for because I'm Vincy was a strong rum and weed, so it's one of those things where, if you probably choose to get involved with it, and I know Lucians who used to get Vincy weed, but anyways, if you choose to take part in it and get involved in it, it's not difficult. And the reason why I brought it up is that if, let's say, I chose to source it, I mean, clearly I really won't want to have to pass through airports with it, but you know what I mean? I'm getting, if you choose to want to find a way to get your hands on it, even for your own personal use, it's not that difficult here in SVG. And as an individual, I've never had a reason or even considered smoking a spliff, so it really does come back down to the individual and the choices they make. It's the same thing with me and alcohol. I don't consume a lot of alcohol in public. If I do consume alcohol, it's at home. So personal choice again.
Okay. Kingsley mentioned gateway drug, and that's one of the things. Before I go any further, I just want to say that I am no expert. I have not studied drugs and addictions and mental health conditions and these sort of things. But one of the things we usually say about drugs is that they are gateway drugs, and I don't believe that drugs are the gateway. I believe that the pain that you go through, the trauma that you go through, the thing that is bothering you, that causes you to go to find relief from these things is the gateway, and it's not actually the drug. And I don't even consider marijuana a drug because as far as I'm concerned, it's a plant that grows naturally like a lot of other plants that we consume, whether we eat it like that or whether they bear fruit. As far as I'm concerned, it is a plant, right? I also would not compare marijuana to alcohol and cigarettes because I could not tell you what is in a cigarette. I don't know what cigarettes are made from. And I could Google it, but off the top of my head, I could not tell you what is in a cigarette. But if somebody were to present a spliff, well, they could put different things in this spliff, but I could tell you in a spliff, it's just the marijuana. You get the plant, you grow it like you grow other things, you cut it, you chip it up, you put it in this plant, you roll it up and you smoke it. No other things are added in that spliff, right? Alcohol is a completely different thing as well. I think when we don't know about certain things, we confuse the effects. Alcohol does not have the same effect on somebody as marijuana. Marijuana makes you chill. So if you notice when you pass, well, sometimes when you pass certain boys on the block, you notice they'll just, as we say, they just rock back. They may just be having a conversation, and they just look sort of chill. If you see them looking like that, chances are they have been smoking marijuana. If you see them getting on real rowdy and loud and aggressive, they've been drinking alcohol, right? Marijuana does not cause you to behave so rowdy. It calms you, actually. And alcohol is the one that causes you to behave like a fool. So going back to the gateway drugs, as I said, I don't think that the drug or whatever substance is the gateway, is what you go through. I strongly believe that people turn to whether it's marijuana, alcohol, cocaine, or whatever because of the pain that they're dealing with, because of the effects that these drugs have on the body. I think that's why people turn to drugs. When I have a headache or a migraine or a backache or something, I go for an Advil liquid gel. It's not because I like Advil liquid gel and every time I feel a pain, I'm going to run to get a painkiller. It's not because I like painkiller. It's because I like the relief that the painkiller brings, right? It's not that I'm addicted to painkiller. Somebody is sick and they're going to the doctor often. You're going to say, boy, them I love doctor every Monday morning. Well, you may say that if you depending on who you are. But is it that they love going to the doctor, or is it that they love the relief that going to the doctor brings, whether it's the medication that they give them or whatever advice that they give them? You could go ahead and take the call.
Hi, Coach. Good morning.
If we follow that logic that marijuana is a gateway for other drugs, I think the whole of St. Vincent, most of the lot of St. Vincent is supposed to be cracked by now. I know some man smoking weed since I've been little, and they're still smoking weed. They ain't smoking nothing else. And people been drinking rum since I know, and they ain't going for nothing else but a rum. I mean, there's not a logic. I mean, I ain't saying you're supposed to do any of them if you choose not to, but like people are always saying this is a gateway drug and that's a gateway drug. Yeah, some people weak and they will go and try every drug if possible. But if you're a weed smoker, you will zook up and do all that kind of thing. If you're a zookie man, you're a zookie man. To each his own. I don't see no weed as no gateway drug or alcohol as gateway for anything. Because watch now, when I was young growing up, they had a whole heap of man in Miller Street. Now it's in the same. Every morning then they go and open up shop. The shopkeeper couldn't come fast enough. They don't get there ready. They're waiting for the rum. Those are alcoholic people. They know what the medication is. They go for the medication. It wasn't going other places where we know all the stuff was selling. I don't believe in this gateway thing. If you're perceptive to being a very addictive person, you might be that inclined to try stuff. But I don't see it as a gateway drug.
Okay.
Because if it was, trust me, there would have been a lot of other things like crackhead and a lot more crackhead in St. Vincent. Because there's a lot of people smoking weed and you don't even know they're smoking weed.
True.
Very true.
All right.
And I know one friend of mine, he was a crackhead, and you see him going to work every morning, but the way he smoked crack, you wouldn't even know he was smoking crack. But, I just don't think it's a gateway drug. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but don't say what gateway is.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Right.
Right. I don't remember where I stopped, but I definitely agree with Kojo with that one. As I was saying before, I feel like if we were to take okay, go ahead.
All right, caller, you have 1 minute because we actually need to wrap up.
I'll try to get you. I'll try to make it in 1 minute.
Okay, thanks.
No, okay. Just for my good friend Dianna, cocaine also plant. Heroin is also plant from the poppy plant. And I do agree with Kingsley. It's a gateway drug. It's a gateway drug. In that today, a person will use one spliff to get a certain high. Tomorrow, he may need 2 spliffs. And next day, he may need 3. The other day, the marijuana is not good enough for him. He gone to cocaine. So that's the point that Kingsley was trying to make. They said that's a gateway drug. It's from one stage to the next. So that's my opinion.
Okay, all right, thanks. While you're speaking, I actually was Googling the process of turning the poppy plant into heroin. I would read up on it, because if you are putting other additional things into it, then maybe that is what causes the addiction. But I don't want to speak off the top of my... If you get what I'm saying. So marijuana, most persons smoke it in the raw sense.
You're correct. I think you should.
Right. So
because just to mention something about marijuana also, if you put another stage when you get hashish, that's another stage too. Up to marijuana.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay. Boy. I forgot the point I was gonna make. I still disagree with Mr. Charles and Kingsley and anybody who says that drugs are the gateway. I still hold fast to the fact that the trauma that people go through, the things that people go through that cause them to want a relief from their pain is the gateway, right? Let's say I was molested. How do I deal with my molestation? Some people turn to God for their problems. Some people turn to alcohol. Some people turn to sex. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to marijuana. The gateway for me will always be the pain that causes the person to go to this thing to get a relief from that thing. He also said that cocaine, I'm still not comparing cocaine with marijuana, because marijuana is smoking raw. You cut up the plant, you don't add sugar, flour, rice, butter, nothing. You cut up the plant, you smoke it. Cocaine has to go through a process. I have no idea what the process is, but I know it goes through a process where it becomes... I think they have it in liquid form. They have it in that powder form that they sniff, right? So cocaine has to go through a sort of process. And when we're talking about drugs and processes, have we considered pharmaceutical products? Have we really? I could not. I drink Advil for pain. I drink Excedrin for pain. I could not tell you what is in that. I could not possibly tell you what is in that. I have Googled as well, and Google will tell you that. Well, you could also Google it. I have not yet found the answer on how you can die from using marijuana. I asked Google if you can die from using marijuana. Several things have said, no, you can't really. There hasn't been any evidence that has shown that you can die from marijuana, but you can die from these over-the-counter drugs, and you can certainly die from using cocaine as well. But I recognize that our time is far gone, and we're going to have to take this up another time, because it's now 8:04, and we have to bring to you our foreign policy very soon. So we may have to take this back up. Let's see, maybe 8:45 or after 9 or somewhere around there.